Remy, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you for
How's
having
reInvent
me.
so far?
It's good. It's good. Honestly, it's my favorite conference of the year.
It's also the busiest conference of the year,
It
I
is.
think.
It really is. It's also fun. It's also fun that we get to work together here, have a little
I know,
conversation.
it's good to catch up with folks.
I know. Even though we don't work together anymore,
I know.
it's good to be able to do this.
One day.
I know.
Cool. Tell me about what's new at Tailscale. What have you been cooking up?
Yeah. So something that we've been really excited about and working on is a AI gateway that we can use to control your LLMs, be it LLMs that users are using.
Yeah.
So like Claude Code is an agent running on your laptop, or LLMs running sort of in a headless mode or kind of autonomously, like in a GitHub Actions runner. And it's a really exciting thing. It leverages a lot of cool, interesting things about Tailscale that I think are really...
For folks that are less familiar, like, there's, a lot of people who are doing kind of AI gateway related stuff. Like, what's kind of special about Tailscale's take on this?
Yeah, so Tailscale, first off, is a private network that you can overlay on top of, any network that you have or any number of networks that you have now to connect pretty much anything, anywhere. So, could be a, autonomous drone out in the ocean on a satellite connection, or a GitHub Actions runner, or something on-prem, or something in AWS. You can connect all of those together with Tailscale. And a really cool property of the Tailscale network is that identity is built in. So when a node or a device joins the Tailnet, every other device on the Tailnet can know like the identity of that node and the identity of the user it's associated with.
Okay.
Yeah. So when we're able to take that, so we have the identity bits, we can build this gateway. We've built this AI gateway, and this AI gateway can basically see that identity when people make requests to it, and then proxy that out to your favorite LLM provider, be it big one or something on-prem or something that you happen to have. And when you proxy that through, the only thing that needs a API key is the gateway.
Okay.
Yeah, and so everything else is managed by the gateway itself, and as long as you can change the base URL, the kind of the typical thing, you can basically just avoid having API keys. You don't have to distribute API keys to your organization. You don't have to distribute them to your agents. You don't have to do any of that.
I see. So something like I could run instances of Claude Code in my Tailnet.
Yep.
I have them point at the AI gateway instead of pointing directly to Claude. And then doesn't matter how I'm running them. Maybe they're like short-lived, spun up to like handle a task. Maybe it's like a long-lived assistant that's like doing stuff for me. Either way, it just all goes to the AI gateway. And then that sort of handles mediating out, like talking back to Claude and back and forth.
Yeah, and we're able to differentiate, you, right, the things that are running on your laptop sort of as you, versus something running in a runner. So you want to put something in a GitHub Action runner, you can use their federated OIDC. You can take that. You can, we work with that at Tailscale, so you don't even need to give it a Tailscale key. Have it join the Tailnet. It joins with the tag, Claude PR review bot, Docs review bot, something like that. And then when it makes its way over to the gateway, it comes with that tag. It also comes with we call it a stable node ID, an identifier that differentiates that run of the agent. And so you can get all of that nice sorted list in your AI gateway to make sure it didn't go off the rails. It didn't start making all these tool calls, right? You can stop those if you want. You can alert on those sorts of things.
Yeah. What kind of are there capabilities around like switching which like LLM provider you use or anything around that, like in terms of whether that's like cost optimization or like if I think Claude is better at a certain kind of task than another, maybe I want like things on the one kind of node using that, like is there stuff like that?
Yeah, so maybe not so much on the like cost optimization front in terms of like the kind of like silently switching a model out from underneath you. But definitely on the, like, if you want to create quotas or certain quotas for certain models based on groups. So we can sync in your groups from your IDP and then have that passed along to the gateway.
Oh, I see. So like if I go crazy using like Claude Code
Yeah.
or like one of the other kind of background providers, you can sort of like limit me, but not impact like
Yeah, you or the group or whatever,
yeah,
like that sort of thing.
but
We
not impact
can
like CI/CD, like kind of like PR tests that happen to be
Yeah,
run through
yeah,
the
maybe that has
LLM.
a limit. Maybe that has a
Yeah.
limit. Maybe, you as a, 10x developer PM kind of thing don't have a limit, but, it's maybe, hey, we'd like you to use a less powerful model or a less costly model.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We can do those sorts of things.
That's cool. What are some other, I'm curious, like other kind of, use cases or example kind of things that y'all, you think people are using this for, are going to be using this for?
Yeah, so like other use cases for the gateway or other use cases for the yeah, so it's mostly again, it's on the like we're focused on kind of the two main categories of users,
Yep.
right? Tracking user usage for finance, for, managers, for whoever,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And then on the agent side, we're looking at just making sure it doesn't, things don't go off the rails,
Yeah.
that sort of
Yeah.
thing. And again, it works with anything where you can replace that base URL.
Which should be pretty much all
Great.
of
It's
the
it's
AI
close. It's
providers,
close. There
right?
are some tooling providers that really want you to use their own full
Yeah,
stack
their SDK.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, for most folks, they're kind of happy to have you switch things underneath. And as long as you can do that, you can use the gateway. And so if you're looking to build custom agents, not just like Claude Code, but
Yeah.
you want to use your insert favorite agent framework here, and kind of route it into the same sort of central pane of glass as
Yeah.
everything else, you can do that.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. I can feel like it's really nice that because you already kind of have this, the tailnet represents this sort of like controlled space, folks that have sort of like on-prem or want like greater control over certain aspects of where they run, where they query LLMs, like where those LLMs operate.
Yep.
Seems really nice that you can sort of control that in a way that you can give optionality where like in some cases, some people could, maybe use like a public model, right? But like not everyone, not
Yes.
just anyone
Yeah,
can
yeah.
use that under any conditions,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
you
And
may want like certain sensitive tasks to not leave, your environment.
you can use our access control rules to kind of redefine, who gets what and how much and those sorts of things. Sort of on a per user, per group basis. It actually even works per request.
Per
So
request.
so you can pass arbitrary information to an application on Tailscale. We have a thing called TSNet. It's a little Go library
Yeah.
where you can just have a Go program connect to a Tailnet
Okay.
directly. It doesn't need anything else. It's just a Go
Interesting.
program. That's how the gateway is actually built. And
Oh.
we offer the ability to define arbitrary JSON in your access control rules
Yeah.
based on user or group or tag or things like that. And
Okay.
uh, so you can pass configuration data. And again, it's sort of per request. So it's like every time the request is made, we can pass that through and you can make decisions, have an application make decisions based on
I
that.
see. So yeah.
This is not just something we're just using this. TSNet is something anybody can use.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anybody can build with TSNet, but we think the gateway is a kind of a nice example of how you can do that.
Cool. Yeah. That's super exciting.
It's a pretty cool. It kind of breaks your brain just a little bit when you start to think of like a program itself can
Yeah.
just join a private network.
Yeah.
It's a little. It's You have to
But it's
kind of
kind
think
of
about things a
good in
little
a
bit.
certain way, right? It like I think there's so much around like, oh, I want to stand up this service, or maybe, if it's not a long-lived, application, oftentimes like the hoops you have to jump through, if you're a developer, the hoops you have to jump through with your like infra team or something to try and like I need to get it approved and like authorized and
Yeah.
like give it access and like that could be like mini PRs and deployments and stuff, right? When
Yep.
it's like, oh, there's a way that like I need to do a thing, I can just like write the code and then quickly get it, in the environment running, executing, whether it's, using the AI gateway to query LMs or not, like
Yeah.
just like get it in there and running.
Yeah. And
It's really powerful for like making it just easier for developers to get their job done.
yeah. Really, it's very cool. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite things about Tailscale. I wish it was more well known. So I'm glad we're talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. I love
Uh,
that's the whole point of this.
yeah. Something else. I mean, so kind of on this same sort of thing is something else we've been doing is we're rolling out the concept of multiple tailnets
Okay.
and ephemeral tailnets. So
Oh.
You can just spin up networks. One of our engineers kind of thinks of it as, hey, now the network is the sandbox. It's not just the container. It's not just the VM. Because you can take those Tailscale access control rules and, just add whatever you want to a Tailnet. Could be agents, could be people, could be a database.
Yeah.
Those sorts of things, and have them do whatever they want to do and define those access control rules. And then when it's done, just drop it. You get rid of it. It's gone.
How are you seeing customers kind of use that? Like, where are they really finding value in that, like, the kind of almost ephemeral nature to this kind of thing?
Yeah. So we see folks that are trying to, no surprise, AI space. They want to connect customers to infrastructure.
Okay.
And it's like maybe it's short-lived, maybe it's, those sorts of things. We see them wanting to connect folks in that way, or they'll, people might spin up one Tailnet per customer.
Oh, yeah.
So that way, and it's not necessarily an AI, but, they might want to have a...
Yeah, they want like customer isolation, but they retain control.
Yep. Yeah. So there's kind of the old concept of like the multi-tenant SaaS and single-tenant SaaS.
Yep.
Right? You can almost think of it as like single-tenant network, versus like you can kind of take that concept if people really want, your customers really want that isolation. You can kind of take that concept and say, hey, it's like we've really, segmented you out, and it doesn't have to be all in one cloud. It doesn't have to be all in one location.
Yeah, you can run the Tailnet across different types of infrastructure, different providers and stuff like that. Yeah, I guess it is really good to be able to kind of provide that guarantee of like, we're doing this at the network layer, right? We're not relying on like API access. You're not doing like, IP block like allow lists anymore, thankfully. It's like, this is a fully isolated thing. If it's in, it's good. If it's out, it's bad. Like,
as long as the node or device or whatever it is has outbound connectivity, so it can actually reach the internet. You don't have to open any ports or anything. And again, you could put some remote sensor on a customer site, right? A machine in your, specific AWS region, and a workstation, that somebody wants to connect to that from. You could put those in a single Tailnet. And they can only talk to each other. There's no open ports or anything. They just talk to each other and, leave it as long as you want. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I know we talked about this in the past, but I really need to set up like a home Tailnet for my house. I have some like stuff that's like, it'd be nice if I could connect to it and like get to it, but I'm not at home.
We got to get you home labbing.
I gotta get my home lab. Like,
You can.
It's gonna be like my holiday activity.
You can spend a lot of money home labbing.
I'm gonna try and do it without spending too much.
It'll take all the money that you want to give it.